You want to start it?
So yeah, we just watched the Dark Knight Rises, which came out a long time ago.
I've seen it before. I saw it in
You've seen
theaters.
it. I've been avoiding watching it for a while because I didn't like the first Dark Knight movie. I thought it was kind of
Not the first one. It's the second
the,
one.
yeah, sorry, the second one, the Dark Knight.
You know that video? It's on our.
Yeah, it's on our channel. You can watch it if you want. You know, some pretty minor complaints. I just didn't really like it that much. And I've been really vocal about that to Matt, so he just wanted me to watch The Dark Knight Rises, the new one.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched it, and after watching the first minute of it, I thought it was a preview because it looked like shit.
He means. By the way, there's gonna be. We're gonna spoil. You want to spoil this?
Spoil the ending?
I mean, we could spoil a whole movie during this video because everyone's already seen it.
I guess.
Right, so we're gonna spoil it. He's talking. What?
If needed, we'll spoil it.
Yeah.
But
he's talking about the opening thing.
I'm talking about the opening thing with the plane, but it's not really what happened that bugs me. It's just sort of the
way it was shot.
The way it was shot, the way it was formatted, really, because
Yeah.
it looked to me like 60 frames per second. And for those of you who aren't into editing and all the technical stuff, 24 frames per second is what's standard and what we're shooting it on with my camera, not this.
We're also filming this on Noah's camera.
And that's what most movies were shown in until this year when people started playing them in ridiculous frame rates like 48 and 60. And 60 frames per second, it looks really smooth, uncomfortable. If maybe we can even get two different side-by-side shots in here later or right now. I don't know if you have time. But it looks really smooth, and that's okay if you're shooting sports or something or television. But an action movie, it's really disorienting, because all that action that looks really blurry and really fast in 24, it suddenly just looks really really poor. Looks like sort of poor acting conducted through movement. That was my first complaint with it.
Yeah.
Bane's voice, of course, it was a little weird.
Especially during the first time you hear it.
Yeah, the first time you hear it, because everybody else, it sounds like their voice was recorded through a boom mic.
Yeah.
And then you hear Bane's voice, and it's obvious that it was overdubbed, and then they ran it through filters.
Yeah.
And they weren't consistent with the EQ on his voice, so there'd be some... there was one shot that was particularly bad when they were in the sewers where he said something and then he said another thing, but they were obviously two different clips of audio, and one was equalized so that the bass was really loud and his voice got really loud out of nowhere. He wasn't speaking louder, it just got louder. So that's one easy thing that they did wrong. They didn't equalize all the voice the same way.
Do you like it more than The Dark Knight?
I think they're both equally as bad.
Alright.
I have to say this one had just a bit more substance to it.
Like a better motivation, better character motivations.
Better character motivation, better story, tons of plot holes, but the story was definitely more present in this one than it was in the Dark Knight. Special effects in this movie were not as good as The Dark Knight.
The Dark Knight didn't have very many special effects to begin with.
Yeah, and the ones that it did have, I feel like a lot of them were organic.
The truck scene, I believe, was completely real. You know, the truck scene when the truck flips over in The Dark Knight.
And I think the biggest problem facing the CGI in this movie was that because it was 60 frames per second, the graphics were good, but just the movement was so awkward looking.
Yeah.
It's just, it's really uncomfortable to look at, because it's just ever so slightly different from something you'd see with your eyes.
Yeah.
And that's really unsettling.
What else? I had a lot. Oh, I was expecting you to notice this. That was something wrong with it. So you know how when they're on the stock exchange and the police come and it's daytime?
Yeah.
And then they leave and they're driving and it becomes night. I'm surprised you didn't catch that.
Oh.
Are you remembering it now?
Now that I think about it.
Because you don't notice it at first because they're driving through a tunnel and you're like, oh, it's just dark because they were driving through a tunnel, and then you see and it's like nighttime.
That's like Plan 9 from outer space. Like, that's just
I know, that's really bad.
Yeah, now that I think about that, that's really stupid. And it's not like it was like evening when they left the stock exchange. It was just like full out daytime. And then there's just night, man.
No, it goes from when they enter it, it's daytime, like not daytime, like it's like, I don't know, like 11 in the afternoon. And then it's like, then the police come and it's still the same time. And then like there's one quick shot of the police officer, the Matthew Modine guy, and it's like kind of dark, and then it's just pitch black.
Yeah. I don't know, if I was them, I would have screwed around with the colors a bit.
Yeah.
Like, made it yellow. Because there are sort of ways, like, there are post-production ways to make it sort of look like evening that you could probably get away with.
Yeah.
But it's just a lot of the stuff they did in this movie wasn't like really huge mistakes that they couldn't correct. It was like a lot of little things that are really easy to fix.
Like we've been talking about, like he's been talking about like frame per second. Also the story is pretty, like the basic setup is fine, but as he said, there are plot holes.
There's some serious plot holes, but that's something that it's really difficult to fix. Like, you know, you have good writers and you have bad writers. It's really,
I know,
when you're making a movie, you know, you can't really fix something like that. You can't.
Well, I mean, you can. It's not incredibly impossible.
But it's really difficult to like make up for bad writers or plot holes. It's just a lot of the formatting stuff was really easy for them to fix. But some of the plot holes we saw. Not
so much plot holes, I wouldn't call it total plot
not like
holes.
Huge plot holes, but like definitely some little things that you know
don't make any sense. Like, of course, there's again, spoilers. The whole middle act of the movie is Bruce Wayne in jail, and then he escapes. We're not going to talk about how he escapes because I don't really have any problems with that. But it's
predictable, but it's
it makes sense. Fine. It's fine. I'll let that go. But it's like the Middle East or somewhere.
Yeah, it's like a desert,
world.
And there's some like crazy desert Arabian castle behind him or something. Like you can sort of get with what we're talking about. If you watch it, you'll understand.
Yeah.
It's obviously like an exotic location.
I know. It's clearly in another continent. It's clearly far away.
So it's like morning. He gets out of this hole. You know, he's all victorious. You get the awesome castle in the background. Later on in the day,
he's just in Gotham City. Again, we're talking about it like it's new, but again, this is the first time he's seen it, and this is the first time I've talked about it on my channel. But he just comes to Gotham. Like, there's no explanation. He's not like, oh, I swam, which wouldn't have made sense because it was like winter, or he just came.
Yeah.
And whenever you bring it up on the internet, like, this doesn't make any sense. People are just like, he's Batman.
I mean, that explanation is okay. I mean, it's a superhero movie.
I know.
He's a superhero. He's Batman.
But he's not like it'd be like if Superman were to do something like that.
He's not like the Flash where you can just run across the ocean.
Yeah, I mean, he is a normal human being.
Yeah, so that's a bit of a plot hole that we noticed. You know, there's the ending, which I don't really want to talk about it just because it's such a spoiler.
Which, the twist or the ending?
Both. I mean, Did
you have any problems with the twist, like the reveal?
I honestly, it was so predictable.
You could tell that the
like, yeah.
Like you could tell a twist was inevitable, or you could just tell that.
I could tell that was what was going to happen in the end. I mean, it wasn't like, you know, when the butler guy was bringing it up the first time that I knew that's how it was going to end. But I knew, like, midway through the funeral, when I saw the guy, I was like, oh, this is how it's going to end.
Do you know anything about, like, the Batman mythos? Do you know about Ra's al Ghul it's really pronounced Rach. They pronounce it Ra's al Ghul in this. But do you know anything about Ra's al Ghul or who he is in Batman?
No, not really.
Okay, because I knew, like, I'm not a huge comic book guy, but I watched the animated series when I was a kid, so I know all the big things that were involved. So I knew from the second, even when they said it wasn't going to be true, that that would be happening. What did you think of? Let's talk about the performances. You said that one of the things you really liked about The Dark Knight was Heath Ledger's performance, right?
Yeah, that was good.
That was, I mean, it won an Oscar.
And I'm not just saying that because everybody said it was good. It was, legitimately uncomfortable.
I know, it's uncomfortable to watch, and he really makes the movie. And when do you think that do you think Bane is as intimidating of a villain?
Absolutely not.
Okay, let's talk about Bane as a character.
It's because he's just like, first of all, there's the mask, so you can't get as much of the facial expression in there.
I know.
Which that sort of makes the Joker's characters what he's doing with his face.
Exactly.
Like, that's what it's all
the
about.
The licking the lips and the laughing.
Like that's what made it so uncomfortable, was looking at his face. Yes, he had makeup on, but you could see
I know.
You could see his face, and you could see like how like creepy it was.
Yeah.
Which is what made it really great.
I know.
But with Bane, he's got the mask, and I didn't see too much movement in the eyes, so it was like the only thing you have to go by is his voice, which itself is really screwed up. So yeah, not much going for Bane.
Also, just not much as a character. He doesn't totally. I mean, yeah, he doesn't do much.
He doesn't really have any like monologues or anything, so he's not.
No, he has that big he's got a monologue or two in there.
But like, there's not a whole lot revealing his past.
No.
It's revealed that he was in the jail, and that kind of stuff. But it's just he's a mystery in the wrong way.
But in The Dark Knight, nothing is revealed about the Joker's past. Like, he lies about it.
Yeah, but that's that goes back to what I just said. He's mysterious in the wrong way.
Or you could just say like the Joker has a lot of character to him. Like there's a lot of substance there. Even if you don't know anything, there's things that make him up.
Yeah, it's just there's this with Bane. There's a lot less substance in the character. It's just sort of not much going on there.
What did you think of? What do you think of like the arc that Batman goes through?
The arc that Batman goes through. Like
the arc, like in The Dark Knight. What do you think of his character, Bruce Wayne?
It was in The Dark Knight. He sort of like deteriorated as the movie went on. He was sort of like up there at the beginning, and then slowly went into exile.
Yeah.
Whereas with this, there was more of an arc, but it's a little jumpy,
Yeah.
Because he was sort of low in the beginning, and then he's Batman, and then he's in jail, and he's Batman again, and then he kills himself, and then it's a little disorienting story-wise.
What did you think of Michael Caine's performance?
Michael Caine played the Batman.
Michael Caine played as Alfred.
Alfred. Which one was he?
Alfred is the butler.
Oh. Yeah, he was good,
Because if you asked me in July, I would have said that Michael Caine deserved Best Supporting Actor for the Oscars, and now I'm like, no. But he was really good.
Yeah, he was good.
Also, Leonardo DiCaprio is the bigger snub for the Oscars. You have not seen Django Unchained yet, right?
No, I think I'm gonna go see it with Jack at some point.
Yeah, just pay to go see it.
Oh,
it's
and
amazing.
we found out that one of our friends actually owned a copy of it on DVD, like a legit copy.
Cool.
So we're gonna use him for that.
Anyway,
we digress. Yeah, The Dark Knight Rises not great.
What else do I want to talk about? Most of the characters are pretty. What do you think of? This is really the only last big character we have to talk about. Like, we could talk about Morgan Freeman, but there's
Morgan Freeman's just Morgan Freeman.
I know,
like,
exactly.
You can't say much more about it. It's just like the actor makes the character.
I know. So there's nothing we can add about Morgan Freeman. But John Blake, the Joseph Gordon-Levitt guy. Yeah. What do you think of both the performance and the character?
I think his performance was good. He's a great actor. He's good Inception, 500 Days of Summer,
Looper.
Yeah, he's great. His acting was really good. The character, I didn't get much from the character. Like, I feel like there could have been a lot there, like the whole orphan thing, but it's just not enough of it was brought out.
What do you think of the fact that he's just, again, kind of not the big spoiler, but a spoiler that he knew that he was Batman. How, the explanation for how he was able to discover that Bruce Wayne was Batman. Because I thought that was a little ridiculous.
Yeah, it was.
Even during my fanboy hype when I saw it in July and was like, practically had an erection this big. When I saw it, I thought like, oh, getting a little soft there. But did you think that was ridiculous?
Yeah, I guess so. One more thing, sort of unrelated, that I have to say is with the like seasons thing.
Yeah.
Where it sort of gave away like how they shot the movie. Because if you notice, all the stuff they shot at Batman's house, you know, it's summer outside.
Yeah.
Yes, they're wearing coats in the last scene, but all the trees have like green leaves on them. It's obviously summer.
Or fall or spring. Maybe not fall, spring.
No, but it's like that's the way trees look during summer. They're big, they're full, they have green leaves and stuff. Like, they tried to disguise it with the coats. They could have done some color balancing to make it look more wintry. Got the yellow out of the picture. That, they could have fixed that. But, yeah, it was summer, and then they go to Gotham City, then it's winter. The mix match of cities was a little confusing too. Like, in some shots you'd see the World Trade Center, and then some shots you wouldn't, because they shot it in different cities.
The World Trade Center, the thing that got knocked down 11 years ago?
No, the new one.
Oh yeah, there's a new one.
Yeah.
Sorry, I forgot.
And yeah, that was a little disorienting. And for most people, it probably wouldn't be. It's just, looking at the World Trade Center every day out my window. It's a little weird to see it and then not see it, and then
What did you think of? Well, you don't know much. What do you think of the fact that the John Blake, Tristan Gordon-Levitt is Robin? Like, he isn't actually Robin, but what do you think that his name is Robin? Like,
I think it's sort of like an obvious setup for a sequel, or what do you call the fourth installment to a series. So, I don't know.
Flies are going in the lens. Of the iPad, not that. Well, Chris Nolan says he has no plans on doing it, and the whole cast is like, we're not doing it unless Chris Nolan does it. And I mean, I agree that the thing, not the thing where he's on it, he's in the Batcave and the thing rises up, that is probably not setting up for a sequel, but that's just Chris Nolan, like, trying to get his fanboys more hyped.
Yeah, that was a little, like,
So
yeah. What else?
What else could we talk about? I don't know. There's a pointless character. Anne Hathaway, Catwoman. We didn't talk about Catwoman. What do you think of her?
Latex. I think she's in the movie so that she could wear like a tight latex suit. I mean, without a proper sex scene, I think that they had to do something for the film company to, get people interested. That was one thing I liked about this, is that there wasn't a gratuitous sex scene, which I think is true of most Batman movies.
Well, I mean, there are not kids movies, but I mean, kids are gonna see them.
Yeah. And, I'm sort of thankful for that, because this one, again, with the 60 frames per second, that'd be really difficult to watch.
Yeah.
I'd probably get sick. Yeah.
What do you think of Catwoman as a character?
As a character, she was an interesting character. I think a little pointless, but, definitely interesting that she's got this like, good side and this really bad side to her.
It's called sexy.
Yeah.
Her sidekick, though, was pointless.
It's totally pointless. It's like that. To relate it to real life, it's like that third wheelie friend of your girlfriend, or that hot girl you want to date, who's always there. She's a little on the fat side, not really attractive, but she's just sort of there, being stupid.
So she doesn't do anything at all. Anne Hathaway's friend is played by Juno Temple, who is a good actress, from what I've seen her in and other stuff. Watch Killer Joe. You know what Killer Joe is?
No.
Oh, it's a good movie. Anyway, but yeah, she's pointless. She doesn't do anything. She doesn't accomplish anything. Apparently, I remember like reading a week before she's gonna play as a character named Holly Robinson, I think. Who I don't know who that is, because I don't read comic books. All I know about Batman is from the TV shows. But I don't think that was wound up being who she was. So she was pointless.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of the Deputy Commissioner, who's basically the last character we can talk about really of any substance? He was the guy who he was, how do I describe him? He was that guy who Commissioner Gordon was fighting with. You remember him?
Trying to.
He was like. He wasn't. You remember that part where he's like, the mayor's gonna dump him in the spring, and he's like, why? He's a hero, and he's like a war hero. He's one of the guys who. He's the guy who Anne Hathaway did not kidnap earlier in the movie.
Oh, yeah, I think I know who you're talking about. The guy with the stash?
No, that's Commissioner Gordon, who we're not going to talk about because he didn't really do much in this movie.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
Except I have something plot. But I remember when he was in the beginning, when he was like, I have something to say about Harvey Dent, and then he's like, but I'm not gonna say it, and then he puts it in. You were like, that's stupid.
Yeah, that was just stupid. I'm gonna get up here and I'm gonna pull out something and I'm gonna read it for you people. Nope, I'm not.
Did you know what he was gonna? Did you have the idea that the note said it was gonna be something about how Harvey Dent was the bad guy, or did you just think it was just nothing? What do you think?
I mean, I thought it was some sort of like. I thought it was going to be some sort of reference to the events of the last movie.
Yeah.
Which there's not too much referencing to the last movie. You know, there were characters from the first movie, but not a whole lot of referencing. Joker was never mentioned. You know, which is a little like, you know, it's something.
They don't mention if he's at Arkham Asylum, which is not even mentioned in this movie once. They don't mention if he's in prison. There's a big during the prison breakout. You'd assume he'd be there. Mm-hmm. But you know, Heath Ledger is dead, and I don't think I would have liked to see an actor take the role up with you.
Well, I wouldn't have wanted him to be in the movie. It's just he could have been at least mentioned.
He could have been mentioned, but you know, just
to make it flow, like, you know, another movie in the series.
Did he get the death? He probably got the death. Apparently, in the novel adaptation, because you know, films are adapted into books for some reason. They mention that he's in jail or in Arkham. I don't know. You know, probably, you know, the part with Scarecrow where how he's like, "Do you want death or exile?" Like that probably would have been what the Joker was gonna do.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you have anything else? Let's just do final verdict. My final verdict. When I saw this in July, I thought it was like gonna be the best movie of 2012, and I can think of like 9 other movies I've seen this year, which I like more than this. It's still a very good movie, but once your fanboy hype goes down, it really becomes a lot less. I think that The Dark Knight is really a remarkable film, even if you don't. But the thing with the Dark Knight is it stands on its own. It's a very good film. It doesn't depend on anything else. With The Dark Knight Rises, it depends so heavily on the first two that you really can't view it as its own movie. It really, your liking of The Dark Knight Rises really depends strongly on the previous two movies. It doesn't stand very well on its own, and I don't think The Dark Knight Rises is gonna hold, like, you know how big The Dark Knight was when it came out, and everyone was just crazy about it. That died down with The Dark Knight Rises very quickly, unlike The Dark Knight.
Yeah, I mean, I heard about it like when it first came out. There was a bit of a hype, mainly from you.
About The Dark Knight Rises?
Yeah.
Yes. I was very hyped for this.
But yeah, I sort of like, other than you bugging me about watching it, I didn't really hear anything about it after
it was not that it was pretty publicized, but after it came out, no one cared about it. So yeah, it won't stand very well. It hasn't already stood very well. I don't have much to say off the top of my head right now that I probably could get to it in another video, because I would like to do a video covering the whole trilogy. But this was a good movie. I would say I give The Dark Knight Rises an 8 out of 10. I think that's fair.
I give it like a 7 out of 10.
I give it an 8 out of 10 because it was a well-made, well-produced film with some very, very gaping flaws, with great performances, and it is, I also do agree, it is the best way that this series could have ended. It's kind of like Return of the Jedi, how that ended Star Wars, and even though Return of the Jedi is like nowhere near as good as The Empire Strikes Back or A New Hope, it is the best ending we could have gotten to Star Wars, and this is the best ending we could have gotten to the Dark Knight trilogy. So, I like this movie, but I don't adore it anymore. Final verdict for you?
My final verdict, I didn't like it. I feel like the cinematography was bad, the formatting was bad, those two sort of complemented each other. The acting was good, but because of the formatting issues, it made the acting, the movement of the actors look really, really awkward and really, just really bad. It also looked really low budget. For a big budget major motion picture, it looked like it was something that someone did in their garage with a tape camera.
I think the budget was like $200 million.
Yeah, it's like a huge budget for something to come out looking just generally that bad. Acting was good, some huge plot holes, but you can't really fix that. Some Plan 9 from Outer Space stuff, nighttime, daytime, spring, summer, winter, that kind of stuff. Ending was predictable. Good, but predictable.
And it doesn't make sense, because
doesn't make sense.
You don't escape from that.
Yeah,
even if you say that it was on autopilot, you see him in it. You can't escape from that.
Yeah. It's like 7 out of 10 stars.
7 out of 10.
I'm sorry. It's just.
It's fine. I don't think no one's gonna. I think like if this was like early August, and you said that, like people would be commenting like, "You fucking faggot. The fuck did you say that?" But now everyone's like, I don't care anymore. No one cares about it. I mean, people still care about this movie.
But nobody cares about this movie. Nobody's going to watch this video. There's no one out there right now who really wants to see a review for The Dark Knight.
I know. It's just to like, to just go back to our old, to just like bring back an older video. That's really that's all you have to say?
Pretty much, yeah.
Alright.
Good.
I have some video ideas in mind that I'd like to upload soon to my channel.
To my channel soon, you're going to be seeing a short film that I made with a few of my friends. Totally different from what I usually do. No story, you're probably not going to like it. That's going to be up there soon. I don't know when I'm going to have the time to upload it, but it's cool. You can expect that soon. We're also going to have some new videos, like Clicker, Confusion, stuff like that. Maybe some music stuff even. For those of you out there who are watching this that actually care, there's like a music performance that my band is doing on the 8th, and I'm forced to publicize it through the internet. So you should come, viewers.
Don't you want to say what the place is?
Yeah, Arlene. Thanks.
Because I'd be like, come, and they're like...
Yeah, Arlene's Grocery. It's not a grocery store, it's an actual club, so shut up. 7 to 7:30-ish to whenever. You can expect more videos, music videos from this band that are going to be on my channel. We're called Big Child. But yeah, that's about it.
Alright. I don't have any music skills, so I'm not a part of it.
We still have the Sex Patrolling.
We still have that, and we still want to do something.
We're sort of on hiatus right now, but when we come back, we're going to actually be working, because we sort of have our record label together now.
Yeah.
We're going to do some actual recordings of actually structured songs, music videos, narrative music videos.
Yeah.
And it's going to be great. So in the coming months, you can expect a lot from Hotshot First Studios, Gangsta GTV. Yeah.
Alright. And
cool.
I just want to say the 2 videos that I'm doing. I'm doing the top 15 best films of 2012. The Dark Knight Rises might appear at the bottom of that list, maybe.
Number 17.
So it's top 15.
Yeah, that's the point.
Okay. And the top 5 most disappointing films of 2012. I don't know. What films disappointed you in 2012? And not including this, if this disappointed you.
Yeah, not including this. I mean, this didn't disappoint me. It was actually better than I thought it'd be, but that,
Yeah.
I thought it would suck.
Yeah.
And it sucked. It just sucked a bit less than I thought it would suck.
Alright.
Yeah, I think that's all.
Alright.
Good night, folks.
See you guys soon.